At a quorum, where is,
I know, I saw him, so he's
oh,
here.
so he's here? Okay. Well, it's 9 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. This is a special called meeting of the Dallas County Commissioners Court. A quorum is present. All legal notices have been posted. This court is duly called. Can I get a motion to open the court?
So moved.
A motion and a second. Is there any unreadiness? All those in favor, let it be known by the usual sign of voting.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Chairs in the affirmative. Bailiff, please open the court.
All rise. Dallas County Commissioners Court special call meeting is now in session. The Honorable Commissioner John Wiley Price presiding. You may be seated. Thank you.
Thank you, Marshal. This meeting is called for the express purposes of the changes to Dallas County election precinct boundaries. And the purpose of this is to approve and adopt the changes to the Dallas County election precinct boundaries contained in attachments that have been forwarded. And so, Elections Department, I think you need to be able to come forward. Mr. Adam, Paul, your delegation.
Yeah, Commissioners.
Just make sure that mic is on. And we can hear you, but is it recording?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be quite a few. It's going to be amended, so I just want to give him an opportunity to do his presentation.
Yeah, so I wanted to inform the commissioners that we are required to redraw the precinct boundaries due to the congressional district changes that happened earlier this year. We have went through those, made changes, have submitted those to the court. We've also sent out legal notices to all members through our precinct chairs to inform them of the changes that were made. Primarily, those changes involve, number one, places where there had to be changes to precinct boundaries due to the district boundaries. And then there were other instances where there were precincts that were relatively small or had no voters at all that we could get rid of. So we had worked with our outside counsel, Baker staff, in order to go through and eliminate precincts potentially that were 0 voters or relatively small voters. That has been provided. We do have a deadline for precinct chairs on, and filing deadline this coming Monday. So this all happened relatively quickly. Most of this has to do with the fact that we wouldn't otherwise be here had it not been for the congressional district redistricting that happened earlier this year. We wouldn't otherwise been doing this.
Well, my concern, and Commissioner Solomon, can you, where is that now? I see us moving and advancing based on where we are.
Right.
Why are we?
Why are we advancing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the answer is because of Judge Alito's decision to put an administrative hold on the decision of the lower court.
Right.
So the lower court made the decision that a TRO is in place. The TRO that the lower court decided on, the 3 panel judges said that the new congressional panels, I'll call them the Trump lines, just for purposes, okay?
Sure.
The Trump lines were unconstitutional, or I'm sorry, not unconstitutional, but that they violated the Voter Rights Act. As a result, that went up to the Supreme Court. Judge Alito, as a single judge, said, no, we're not going to allow that TRO to happen. I put a stay on that TRO. As a result, the Trump lines, per that stay, is in effect. Now, the Supreme Court has said that they would weigh in. As you all know, my firm has represented on this case, and they expected a decision 3 daes ago, yesterday, today, tapping our foot, wondering where they are.
Well, I wanted that for the record and to be clear. I guess what concerns me, we do this, and I know what the likelihood is, but
Don't be so likely.
yeah.
I'm hopeful.
Okay.
What happens if That doesn't happen.
Then we go back to the old lines, your old precincts are in place, you do nothing, is the answer.
So
And
this,
So is that cut off on Monday?
You would think that the Supreme Court would be kind enough to make that decision between now and Monday, which would mean any day now. And so I think what we need to do, in adopting these new lines, is, put a footnote on it. And the footnote would say words to the effect of, this is only in effect if the Trump lines hold, is basically the way we say it. In other words, this court order that we're about to do only comes into effect if the Trump lines hold. And the Trump lines are the law right now because of the administrative hold by Judge Alito.
Well, okay. Sounds good. There's a lot of work being done to talk about amending these, and
Yes, it's a lot of work just in case, yes.
okay.
Because realistically speaking, if we're gearing up for the March election, right? So that in theory, we do have a little bit more time to address the lines used in that election.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a matter of more time. It will just revert. These lines, only because of the congressional districts, but should this, some act of God, not go forward, we would revert, to my understanding, to where we are now.
That is my understanding. You're correct, that it would revert back to what we previously had.
And so nothing, basically what we do here would be of no moment, is the way that we would do it. In other words, this gets revoked if the Supreme Court decides that the Trump line should not hold.
Yeah, so when we make the motion, what someone will need to do
Well,
is,
but we're not going to make any motion to that and to get some things into the record. I know Commissioner,
when we make the motion,
okay.
make it
When
contingent.
we make the motion, I have all the numbers that we have to read, and I think Jasmine is just giving them to all the members of the court. Mr. Adams, you already have them, right?
Yes, I do.
well, yeah, but you're going to have to read them into the record,
Yes.
number one. Number two,
Okay, hang on one second. When we make the motion, whoever makes it will need to make it contingent on the Supreme Court reversing the lower court. And if that doesn't happen, then that will automatically revert us without the need for another meeting to the lines that are in place right now.
and that was the reason I asked Commissioner Summerman to explain. So given that, like I said, I know both Commissioners Garcia and I have some amendments, and of course, before I guess anything, is there anything else, Mr. Nay, that you have to offer?
I didn't have anything else. I know I've met and talked with all of you. We want to support any kind of changes that we want to make, so I don't have anything further.
We have speakers on this matter.
Well, but you got it. You can't have something to
But they'll
get
make
a
the
motion.
motion. Commissioner
So, I'll
Summerman,
make
would you like to make the motion? I'll second.
Okay.
And put everything on the record.
Let me think about the phraseology that I want to use.
Well, the phraseology is just what you
contingent.
just said, the Trump line.
You want me to say it again?
Yeah, the way you want to put it.
Or here, not normal.
Glad to do it, let me be clear.
Okay. Well, here, it's unusual, but I'll just make the motion. I move that the lines that we are about to adopt, the lines that are before us in number 1, with the amendments that will be read into place by Dr. Garcia.
And Commissioner Price.
But she's the only one reading, right?
Yeah, I have the whole list, Commissioner, all the districts, including Commissioner Daniels, yours, and mine.
Okay, got it.
Including the list, which will be read by Dr. Garcia and attached to the order itself, will be in effect if and only if the Supreme Court vacates the ruling of the lower court in regards to the redistricting done by the state of Texas legislature in 2025. Should that not occur, the lines for this election will be the lines that exist before this vote and at this present time. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay. All right, so that's the motion before us. Now we've got speakers, and also I may have some questions just for the people to know as we go through the list. okay? Do you want at this time, so that it'll be on the record, read the entire list?
Well,
However you tell me to
Yeah,
do it.
so that they
It's
know what they're
ready.
speaking to.
Yeah,
Okay, so
exactly.
let me go ahead and read the list. And before I do that, let me thank, as everybody knows, this has come out with a short notice, and it took a lot of work and preparation from all the members of the court. So I want to especially thank Latoya Jenkins and Jessica Mendoza, with Dr. Teresa Daniels, District 1, Tom Irving and Todd Hensley, with Commissioner Summerman, District 2, Ms. Daphne Fain, with Commissioner John Wally Price, District 3, and Jasmine Flores, Chief of Staff of District 4. They got all together, within the last 24 hours. They pretty much worked tirelessly, day and night, and I want to thank you all for all the work that you do. And the list reads as follows. Amen.
And Dr. Garcia, I'll stop you at each precinct and
Of
ask
course.
you a couple of questions.
Yes.
If I could make
Yes, please.
just one comment. I had heard from legal counsel that there may be an issue with making a contingency in the motion, since it has to be effective as of the 8th for the filing deadline. I'm not sure legally how that needs to play out, but I want to make sure whatever motion we're moving forward with is proper.
Well, help me out here, James and Barbara. So the motion that we are making is the moment that the Supreme Court, if that occurs, strikes down the lower court, the lines we're talking about today and about to pass would be in effect.
Prevail.
If that does not occur, then the lines that we currently have would stay in effect. And the challenge of not doing it that way, given that it's Thursday and the filing closes on Monday, is if the Supreme Court passes something on Saturday night, I don't have enough time with, I guess I can call it an emergency meeting or something, but we could get into a situation where we can't do an open meeting and correct this, and we have the wrong precincts for the current lines.
And this, of course, creates chaos for our precinct
Oh,
chairs.
understood. It's no problem doing it like that. It might have been how it was worded, that if it is all contingent on if this happens, that the lines are
But
approved.
they said that in the motion.
So maybe you approve the lines and you make clear that if the Supreme Court rules, and do not uphold these new redistricting lines,
I
that
think
it
he did
reverts to
that.
the
Yeah,
other.
he said
I did that.
Yeah, he said
He
that.
did
Maybe-
that.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
He did. I thought he did a good
Yeah.
job of it,
No,
too.
no, it did.
Okay.
And I understand your caution because of what
Yeah,
they
just wanna make sure.
instructed you. Got it.
Of course. this-
Remember, like many moons ago, I used to do this for a living.
Yeah, right.
So, okay.
And I paused it doing it for making sure the language was right. This does create chaos for precinct chairs. Plain and simple. I wish I could tell you something different, but unfortunately it does. And the reason why is because if you are in precinct, I'm making up numbers, 2084, and the precinct lines are the Trump lines, the ones that we are. What precinct do I file in? Do I file in the Trump line ones or the new one? Because I might have moved to 2085 from 2084. So my advice is wait till Monday, but file on Monday, because hopefully we'll have some clarity between now and then. I don't control the Supreme Court. I wish I did, but they have not ruled, and it is up to them that we make these new lines. Which precinct chair are you? I can't tell you until the Supreme Court rules. Right now, the law is the Trump lines. That is the law right now. And the reason why the Trump lines are the law is because of Judge Alito's stay on the three-panel court's TRO. We won with my firm won at that level, and then was overturned by Judge Alito's stay on that. So as a result, hopefully by Monday, we will have a decision from the United States Supreme Court. Will we? I don't know. is the answer. And if that does happen, where the Supreme Court doesn't rule by Monday, but later does rule, what happens then? I imagine you're gonna see a lot of filings in a lot of courts about, okay, let's extend the deadline for people to be able to file. Okay, let's figure, do we even have to extend the time period for the primary? Chaos, yes. I can see y'all's look on your faces, this is just chaos, and the answer is, yes, it is. And it was not brought upon by us. So let me just say that.
Okay. And as, Dr. Garcia, as you get to the end of Commissioner Precinct 1, I'll have 2 questions for you. And then as you get to the end of 4 and 3 and 2, or 3, I'll have 2 questions for you.
Sounds good. And the change reason, Judge, I know it's a small font. It's right here. So at the end of what I'm going to read says the reason for change.
But the change reason is consistent.
Yeah.
It should be 500 votes or
Exactly.
or less, period.
Correct.
And the 2 questions I'll ask at the end of each commissioner's precinct is, are the lines the same for both parties, which they are? And has the voting location moved from where it was previously noticed to both parties with proper notice?
Correct.
And it hasn't, right?
It has not at this point.
So that's all I'm asking.
Okay, so you know the answers too. Okay, sounds good. Okay, we start with, I'm going to say the type, which is an amendment, then the district, which is the Commissioner's Court District, and then the active voters in the original, and then the active voters change, and then which is the one that is going to be absorbed.
Yes.
So,
This needs to be in the form of a motion, I think, a motion to amend. Okay, good.
No,
Well,
did
we
that. I
already
said
have
it
the
as
motion.
it reads in.
Thank you.
okay, so it will read, amend, Commissioner District 1, Precinct 1401, active voters 443, active and active suspense new voters original 476, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by 1402. The reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amen. Commissioner District 1, Precinct 1405, active voters 479, active and active suspense new voters 528, no longer a precinct, whole precinct will be absorbed by 1410. The reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amen. Commissioner Court District 1, Precinct 1409, active voters 713, active and active suspense new voters original 777. No longer a precinct has the number of voters, whole precinct will be absorbed by 1410. Amen. Commissioners Court District 1, 1412, active voters 430, active and active suspense voter 465. The same, the active description of changes, no longer a precinct. The whole precinct will be absorbed by precinct 1410. And that concludes, Judge, the changes on Commissioners Court, Commissioners Court 1.
And a couple of questions on
There
that.
you go. Go ahead.
Are the precinct lines the same for both parties?
Yes.
And has the voting place been moved on any of these from the place that was noticed to both parties?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
What-
It's
yeah,
now
stop.
ask questions or at the end?
No, you need to ask as you go through your precinct.
Okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner. We just read yours.
Because there is not a change reason for the change from precinct 1409 to 1410. So what would that reason be?
All of them, it appears that all the, everything except 1401.
The answer would be, I think, less than 500 voters, because if you look,
Both of them were absorbed by 1410.
yeah,
Not
it
both
says that
three.
there are 430 active voters.
Right.
So that's going to be, that was just not put in there? Oh, no, wait. It says
713.
713. Go ahead.
Correct.
Yeah, they have 700. When we looked at these, sorry, LaToya Jenkins.
Go ahead, Ms. Jenkins.
When we looked at these and worked with the elections department, it was determined that because of the proximity of 1410 to 1409, that they would try to absorb it, which is why we put it on the amendment to not do that.
Correct.
Because of the number of voters. It was
So
over
then
the
the
500.
rationale is
Well, that's an unabsorbed.
not that it's less than 500
No,
voters.
no.
What is the reason?
Because it was in the proximity, they tried to get the ones that they wanted to absorb, which were closer to 1410. So they just said, because it was right next to it, go ahead and absorb it, which is why we said no.
Yes, and I,
They have more than
my call,
700.
not my call, but that's
But
a
then the
logical
Numbers
reason.
don't figure well into this one.
Thank you.
Well, Commissioner, so what's your ambivalence? I mean, what's, because what they're basically saying is 1405, 1409, and 1412 go to 1410. And
Right. For the reason that they're close by to each other? Is that
Yes.
the reason?
Yes, and
yes.
because one of them have less than 500.
Yeah, but in the end, you get
So that was
So-
where there were precinct boundaries that were close to a congressional district change. If there was something that was close, it was looked at to potentially put them together.
Okay.
So that's kind of where that came from. But once again, we're fine with leaving those alone.
So then that's a very different rationale than what are the ones that are listed here. It is because the congressional lines kind
Was
of
close
take
to that.
precedence over, and the attempt to lay other lines on congressional lines in order to streamline voting districts.
Yes.
Is that the
Yes,
rationale then?
correct.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
Okay, well, that concludes Commissioner Teresa Daniels, number one. Now we move to amend District 4, Commissioners Court District 4, Precinct 4025, active voters original 393, active and active suspense new voters original 414. No longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4028. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Moving along, Commissioner District 4, precinct 4026, active voters 156, active suspense new voters 161. No longer a whole precinct, which will be absorbed by precinct 4027. Reason, precinct has less than 500 active voters. Next, amend 4, District 4037, active voters 197, active suspense new voters 207, no longer a whole precinct and will be absorbed by 4036. Precinct has less, reason, precinct has less than 500 voters. Amend District 4, Precinct 4071, active voters 370, new voters original 428, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4075. Reason, precinct has less than 500 active voters. Amend District 4, Precinct 4084, active voters original 654, suspense new voters original 726, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4085. Moving along, District 4, Precinct 4088, active voters 407, active and active suspense new voters 451, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by 4087, reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amend District 4, Precinct 4090, Original number of voters, 113. Suspense and new voters, 117. No longer a precinct. Whole precinct will be absorbed by precinct 4055. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. District 4, precinct 4097. Original active voters, 989. Active and suspense new voters, 1,044. No longer a precinct. Whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4002. Amen. District 4, precinct 4101. Active voters, 168. New voters original, 179. Reason, no longer a precinct. Whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4024. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amen. District 4, precinct 4107. Active members, 130. New voters original, 138. No longer a precinct. Whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4038. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amen. District 4, precinct 4120. Active voters, 648. New voters original, 732. No longer a precinct. Whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4087. Amen. District 4, precinct 4141. Active voters, 138. New voters original, 146. No longer a precinct. Whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4115. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Moving along, amen. District 4, precinct 4143, active voters 136, new voters original 154, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by 4039, reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amen. District 4, precinct 4149, active voters original 139, new voters original 156, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4076, reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Moving along, District 4, 4157, active voters original 345, new voters original 361, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4060. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amen. District 4, precinct 4530, active voters original 326, new voters original 403. No longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4531. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amen. District 4, precinct 4534, active voters original 114, new voters original 119, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4510. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amen. District 4, precinct 4615, active original voters 219, new voters original 231, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4613. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amen. District 4, precinct 4617, active non-voters original 176, new voters original 185, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4646. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amen. District 4, precinct 4653, original voters 124, New voters original, 147, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by 4609. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amend, District 4, precinct 4656, original voters, 147. New voters, 157, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by 4613. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amend, District 4, precinct 4657, original voters, 101. New voters original, 114, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4613. Precinct less than 500 active voters. Amend, District 4, precinct 4659, original voters 226, new voters 235, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by 4618. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amend, District 4, precinct 4662, original voters 317, new voters 334, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4646. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. Amend, District 4, precinct 4678, original voters 190, and new voters 203, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by precinct 4677. Reason, precinct less than 500 active voters. And that concludes the precincts in District 4. Judge, you want to ask me the two
Yeah.
questions?
Are the precinct lines the same for both political parties? And has any polling place been moved from those that were properly noticed to both parties?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me ask the elections administrator, so that the record would be clear. What is an optimal precinct size? We've read numbers here, and while we may know, but for the record, what is optimal in terms of not only, efficiency, but in terms of the code?
So in terms of the code, the precinct can be as high as 5,000. So typically, we're looking at somewhere closer between 2,500 and maybe 3,500. But a lot of that also deals with the population of where it is in that precinct, and expected growth in that area. So some of them you may see that are significantly smaller because geographically it doesn't make sense for them to be put together. But generally, you're looking somewhere mid-upper part of that 5,000 range is an optimal size for a precinct.
And the reason I'm putting it on the record, because if we've got people who are looking and seeing the voters that are active, seeing the new voters, when they do the combination, what we're saying is optimally for management purposes and efficiencies, that 3,500 to 5,000 is where we want to be.
That's correct. Generally, that's a good general rule to look at.
Okay, I just wanted that for the record, because otherwise people will be a little discombobulated about why are they combining these precincts. Okay. For District 3, Commissioner?
District 3, we start with precinct 3001, active voters 442, new voters 528, no longer a precinct, whole precinct absorbed by 3002. Reason, precinct had less than 500 active voters. Next, precinct 3002, an active number of voters 1,087, new voters 1,179, absorbed by precinct 3001.
Yeah,
Next.
And again,
Go
that's
ahead.
one of the reasons. I knew we were going to get into the thousands when we got to District 3, so I wanted that to be real clear in terms
into
of.
the record. Yes, because the next one has no changes, which
Right,
is
and these are
one we
all
haven't.
amends.
Yes. So, precinct 3003, original voters 1,674, new voters 1,783. This precinct has no change.
Yes.
Next, District 3, Commissioners Court District 3, Precinct 3034, new active voters, 1,377, new voters, 1,515. This precinct has no change. Amend, District 3, Precinct 3037, active voters, 418, new voters, 449. This precinct has no change, even when it has less than 500 active voters originally. Okay, amend, District 3, Precinct 3069, active voters, 1,858, new voters, 2,003, absorbed by Precinct 3099, absorb reason precinct less than 500 active voters. Amend, District 3, Precinct 3073, original voters 174, new voters 184, no change.
185.
185, apologies, no change. A reason precinct less than 500 active voters. And we go to the back.
Next page.
Okay. Amend, District 3, Precinct 3317, original voters, let me look at the column here.
Right, it's 3,000.
Yes, because I need to follow it. Okay, it's 3,059. Active number 3,199. This will split the precinct, relinquish Silver to 3317, new precinct 3302, created from northwestern portion. Commissioner Price, you might want to make a comment about this.
Well, because again, that's one of the reasons I wanted the election administrator to talk about the numbers associated, but again, this is about proximity and it's about locations. And so I think, according to my staff, relinquished to create new precinct in 3302. It's created from that northwest portion.
Okay, moving along. District 3, Precinct 3616. Active voters original 797. New voters 855. Active reason no change. Was part of 3952 that is being removed. Amend, District 3, Precinct 3618. Active voters 927. New voters 949. This will absorb the majority portion of 3952 and Silver of 3951. Next, amend District 3, Precinct 3302. From 3317, new precinct 3302, created from northwestern portion. Next, amend District 3, Precinct 3120. This split created from portion west of Dowdy Ferry Road from 3083. And that concludes the amendments for District 3, Judge.
Are the precincts the same for both parties?
Yes?
Has any polling place moved from those that were noticed to both parties?
No.
Okay.
That was a long motion.
We've got a motion and a second. We need
We got
Have
speakers.
speakers.
Will the bailiff please read the rules of decorum for our public speakers?
All Commissioner Court attendees are hereby advised that this meeting is conducted in accordance with the provisions of the Dallas County Code, Section 74-71. Visitors and registered speakers are to preserve order and decorum at all times Personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks and boisterous conduct are not appropriate and will not be allowed any time during this public meeting. And in all, applause are to be kept brief and observant of time constraint. Disruptive visitors and or registered speakers may be removed and are subject to the penalties provided in the State of Texas Penal Code, Sections 38.13, 42.01, and 42.05. Registered individual speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and the maximum discussion on any one topic is limited to 30 minutes. Thank you.
Our first speaker is Precinct Chair 4076, Linda Weiss.
How are you all today?
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
The reason
Ms.
that
Ms.
I'm up
Wise,
here.
will you just repeat your name and your address for the
Okay.
record, please?
It's Linda Wise, 2719 San Jose Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75211.
Thank you.
And you have
Thank you.
4 letters that are being given to you from the president of one of the neighborhood associations that's been divided. Another letter from the Wedgley people because we just had a huge burst of building out in that area. And then the lady who is the election judge, I'm the precinct chair, but she's the election judge because she can still get up early in the morning and go work for 14 hours. Just a brief history as to the reason for this. Back in, I think it was 2013, there was a meeting of 2 different parties, some Republicans, some Democrats, and this was while Eddie Bernice Johnson was here, and they decided. And I had a person at the meeting, so this is based on personal knowledge. They had decided that there was a Dallas Housing Authority high-rise, which had a number of older people that were mainly minority, and they wanted to get that out from voting in our precinct because it was like a block away from the voting precinct. They moved them over to 4078, which is Kessler Park Methodist Church. And we didn't know anything about it because at the time you all weren't required to tell us, and so whatever happened, happened. In order to get to them, they had to tear a neighborhood pretty much in half, if not more. And so they moved all these people over. They didn't know. They came in. The ones from the center would come over on their motorized wheelchairs and their
Walkers.
the different, crutches, whatever they had to use to get over there because they were older and voting was extremely important to them. What we did that day, because there were a lot of other people that came over to vote that had cars that also had to be sent over because no one knew that it had been changed. So we got the people who had cars to take the people who didn't have cars and the ability to get over there, take over there. I took over several of them to try to get them to vote and then come back. It was horrible. I have to thank you very much for having the ability to change so that if people were voting on election day, they could vote anywhere in the county. That solved that problem, but it could come up again. There's nothing that says that they might not in the legislature or somewhere else change it where you can't do that anymore.
Right.
And I don't want to go through this again. It was heart-wrenching to watch those people.
Well, Thank you for your concerns. Let me ask Paul a couple of questions. Now, if these new lines don't take effect with the Supreme Court ruling, would 4076 still be contiguous and together? Do you know?
We do have Kevin from our office here who has GIS who could bring up on the screen exactly where this is.
Yes, please.
But I don't, if we could,
Let's take a look at that real quick. What
he
screen?
has an overlay to show both.
Yeah.
Mr. Byrne?
So,
Good morning, Commissioner.
yeah, Kevin, a couple of questions. One, would it be consistent, altogether, if the maps hold the ones that are currently in place due to the lower court ruling? And two, is it even possible with the new district lines to do what these letter writers are requesting?
At the last precincting, we had 885. Through this last motion, we've gotten it down to 757. So basically, we combined and we split. Most of those splits were, as you talked about, were due to new congressional lines. We have what we call hard lines, which means these are state and county. That's your senatorial districts, House districts, Commissioners Court, JP, School Board, State Board of Education. Those are lines that we cannot split. Now, if we're talking about an alignment that wasn't there before, i.e. the congressional districts, when they were replaced with Plan C-2333, now you have a line. So if you have a precinct that was either divided by that line, they cannot be put together because now you have two districts split in that precinct, which in the easiest case or normal case, you would have two precincts. Now the division, because of that congressional district or any other what we call the Big Six, they cannot be combined with anything. In other words, we can't cross those lines.
Right. I think what he's saying, Ms. Weiss, is, I think I'm right, that 4076 currently, as it sits right now, is contiguous and together. But if the new if the lines that we're talking about happening, if the Supreme Court knocks out the lower court, he's saying it's not possible for that to be because of the congressional line changes.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
We're gonna look at it
Okay,
right
great.
now.
Probably
He's
show
gonna
you
bring it up.
better than I can tell you.
4076.
And her precinct, Ms. Weiss, on this one was not affected, but the lines that were changed in 2013, sadly, cannot be put
Right.
together again
For
before
over
that.
50 years,
Yeah,
we were a rectangle.
right.
And all at once, it's like they took a bite out of it.
Right.
Okay, let's see.
In 2013,
We're
when
talking
the,
about-
when the congressional lines changed. So, but in this one, you stay as you are right now.
Well, that's not it.
No.
Yeah, that's not it.
Just in case, that's
Here
it.
it is.
Let me explain to you how this application works. It gives you the ability to compare 2013, what we consider the old precincts, and the new precincts. The old precincts were 885. The new precincts are 757. So the purple lines are the old precincts. That's what we started with. I could overlay the black lines, which are the new precincts. Now, to give you an idea,
It's basically the same.
and y'all bear with me, I'm a little nervous. First time in front of Commissioners Court.
You're doing great.
You've been doing this for the last 35 years.
So first of all, let's look at it. This is Plan 2193. That is, current, what we'll refer to as the old ones. To show you how much they changed, these are the new lines overlaid. So there was quite a bit of change, especially up in this area here. You heard them talk about 32, District 32 and District 6. So I just wanted to give you an idea. To give you a little background.
But this is down at Stevens Park is what she's talking about.
Right, it's the one.
Okay, so you want to look at that specific one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, you had it in the first line.
Well,
There it is.
those people that are in that precinct are in the Kessler Park Methodist Church, they were moved there. That's the highest voting precinct in Oak Cliff, and they were moving them over there. When we had those people, we were the third highest voting precinct.
Just packed them.
And now, so we know the real reason it was done, and it wasn't done correctly, and we just, however we can get it back so that everybody, because the letter that I got from you all said we're trying to put neighborhoods together and keep them together. If we have to wait, okay, only because you all were smart enough to do a law that allowed people to vote anywhere in. If they hadn't have done that, we would have been in trouble all the way around. So you are appreciated for that.
Thank you, Ms. Wise, we
Well,
appreciate you.
Yeah,
too.
right now.
And I'll mention to the commissioners, you can see on the eastern border, that's the area where there's potential changes. The rest of the precinct basically stays intact.
same.
Right, everything was the same. They just took a bite. And that's Hampton, which is a very large, and that has been, Hampton from I-30 to Davis has been for over 50 years.
So I think what you're talking about is several years ago, the lines were changed in 2013.
That's
And
correct.
you are here saying, why not change them back to the way they were 12 years ago? Okay, what's the answer to that?
Kevin?
So the result of that new alignment may or may not be a result of a new congressional district.
Understand?
I can pull it up, but I don't want to get everybody, if you want.
That's why we're here.
But it's going to, once it gets done like that, it's going to stay like that until we can make a difference and make it reasonable and give us our party back. Give us all of the people that live within that precinct. We all work together.
That line is actually a result of a senatorial line.
And that's a hard line.
Yeah, we cannot cross that. We cannot combine
That's a hard
precincts
line.
on either side of those or any other of the colored
Right.
lines that I showed you. I made them different colors so you can tell exactly which one. So I don't think that would be a new lines because most of our new lines are congressional districts changing from changing to 2333. But we run into, and let me just show you something right quick. These are all the major districts that refrains us from combining. So basically, what I wanted to say at first,
That's very.
when we make precincts, we take the big six and we mash them up together where each of these polygons only represent one district in each polygon. So a polygon can be represented by two congressionals. So from these lines, we have to further divide them to get below that 5,000, and then we have to check to make sure they're above 100.
Right.
So we are held by certain conditions. So in other words, to make it short, we cannot combine anything from here to here because there's some type of.
Totally understand. But it was changed for a wrong reason, and I just want you all to be aware. And when that time comes up again, that it gets changed back because it's not fair to the people of that precinct to have that happen to them.
Okay.
You weren't there and see the people crying because we couldn't let them vote and we didn't know why, and we called to find out, and that's when we found out they were over at the other precinct, and we got people to drive them over so that they could vote. And that's not right. It's just not right. So,
By the way,
I
we
appreciate it.
we don't draw senatorial lines,
I understand.
okay?
Right now, we don't.
No, we're not gonna ever get,
Probably
we're
never
not gonna
going
ever get a
to.
chance. That's the legislature.
It's just pushing us further
Yeah,
to
that's
do
the
more
it's
because
the-
we don't accept. things
I
that are not-
understand. That's the legislature. We get a chance to draw commissioners JP line, precinct line, but the legislature draws.
Totally understand,
Okay.
just making you aware so
Okay.
that when the time comes.
Okay.
We look into that.
You go-
Thank
go
you
to
so
the
much,
legislature.
Vice. I appreciated you being here today. It's good to see you.
Okay.
Okay.
Next speaker, Judge.
Sure.
Michael
Our next
McPhail.
speaker is Michael McPhail. Michael, come on up.
Is he here?
He's not here.
He usually
Is
signs
Michael
up.
online?
He usually does it online.
Okay,
He's online.
great. Hey, Michael.
Tom.
Yeah, put him on the screen too.
There he is.
Hey, hey.
Hey,
Your audio, Michael.
you're muted.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Ooh.
Thank you very much. Michael McPhail, 815 Dixon Drive, Irving, Texas, 75061. I would like to thank the commissioners and the judge for allowing me to speak today. I speak in favor of the changes to the map being made in the city of Irving. I should explain. In 2014, I testified against the
Sorry,
2011
hold on,
city
Hold
law
on,
map.
hold on, Michael. We lost your signal. You've got to stay on camera. We lost him.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
hear
We
you.
can't see you.
There you are.
Okay. I didn't actually change any of the settings, so.
I mean, you were there and then you disappeared.
Okay, can you see me now?
No, sir.
Not yet.
I don't think
Hang
it's
on a
you.
sec. Let me try this.
I
Can
don't think
see
it's
me
you. I
now?
think it's us.
Might be us. Hang on one
Okay.
second.
No, it's not.
I mean, it should be there and it's not.
Yes, it should. I have video on my end.
Huh,
But not with us. But
yeah, it's not
If-
here.
can you, even if we cannot see him, if you put him on the screens and people can see him, can you do that?
He's supposed to be there.
Oh, okay.
But if he was there, he'd be here. He'd be.
You can see him in your computer, but we cannot see him.
But he's not up there
Yeah, I
either.
know.
Sure.
Yes.
Mike, can you hold for a minute? I think the technical difficulty is on our end.
Yeah, we'll get
Okay,
that
I
fixed.
can wait.
We'll get that fixed and come back to you. We'll take somebody who's here in the building. Miss Elizabeth Hamline, come on out.
Thank you. My name is Elizabeth Hamline. I am the precinct chair for Irving, precinct 4634, the election judge for Bear Creek 4629. I was the national delegate to the Democratic Convention for
You
congressional
didn't
districts.
give your address.
Can you give your address, please?
1606 Dowling Drive, Irving, Texas, 75038.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, commissioners, to Judge Jenkins, to our individual commissioners in Irving, Andy Summerman and Dr. Garcia. Thank you to Paul Adams for all this work that you've done. I know this is trial by fire. If you thought Ohio was hard, welcome to Texas. As you know from Dr. Garcia reading into the record, District 4 was more adversely affected by the redrawing of these maps because we are at ground zero for the Texas Republicans Party, who are controlled by West Texas billionaires Tim Dunn and Ferris Wilks, their PACs, and Governor Abbott, who is beholden to Donald Trump, to disenfranchise the Black and brown and Muslim voters that are in the city of Irving and West Dallas County. This is evidenced by Governor Abbott's continued racial animus to our Muslim community right here in North Texas. These congressional maps that are now in place, C-233, were drafted by a law firm that was well aware of Texas and federal law and how congressional districts should be drawn, and yet they deliberately broke our precincts in half. Our voters are confused and they do not know who represents them. The continuity of being redistricted in 2021, where we had only 2 districts congressional districts in Irving, we now had 3. As the Bear Creek election judge in 2024 in West Dallas County, our Muslim voters were extremely confused that they could not vote for the candidate of their choice, CD 33 Representative Mark Vesey. The city of Irving has 260,000 residents. We have 4 school districts, 2 commissioners, 3 Texas House reps, 2 senators, and 3 congressional districts. The majority of the growth in North Texas is coming to our community for jobs for the companies we have attracted like Wells Fargo, McKesson, Microsoft, and Amazon. Our city is 41% Latino, 23% AAPI, Hindi and Muslim, 21% white, and 14% Black. This map, C233, silences our minority city to choose a candidate of their choice. When Irving had 2 congressional districts, 33 and 24, they would both be Democratic now. But CD24 representative, former Irving Mayor Beth Van Dyne, decided she no longer wanted Irving in her district. We were removed. Under the current map, CD6 has 50%, 0.71 white, disenfranchising our Hispanic community. CD24 is 63.35% white, disenfranchising our Muslim and Hindi community. And then the redrawn CD33 that is now only in Tarrant County is 50.25% Latino, and the Irving's 8 precincts in Valley Ranch, represented by Commissioner Summerman, is majority Hindi and Muslim AAPI. Thus, our Latino majority is silenced, our Hindi and Muslim majority is silenced. We have no voice in the city of Irving. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam.
Let's try to go, are we ready to try to go back to Michael McPhail? We think we've got it fixed. Hi, Michael. We're going to try again.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
We hear you.
Okay, can you see me?
Great.
We can now.
See you
Now
now.
we're-
Okay, thank you very much.
Tell us your address and we know you are, and then get started.
Michael McPhail, 815 Dixon Drive, Irving, Texas, 75061. I would like to thank the Commissioners Court for allowing me to speak. These proposed changes to the map, as far as precinct consolidation go, are long overdue in the city of Irving, and I thank you for finally making these updates. As I'm sure Commissioner Garcia remembers, after the 2011 and 2021 decennial census redistrictings, I have strongly encouraged both her and her then staffer Brooks Love, God rest his soul, to eliminate as many of these tiny precincts as we possibly could by simply consolidating them. In 2012, I served as the elections director for the Dallas County Democratic Party, and I can say, in the days of paper ballots on election day, staffing these small sites or consolidating them was a nightmare. People had 10 different sets of actual paper ballots sometimes that they had to keep track of as an election judge. I had to deal with that myself in 2016 at Irving High School, and it's why I quit being an election judge. It was a nightmare. And I can say, as somebody who in 2014 testified against the 2011 State House map on behalf of the U.S. Justice Department Civil Rights Division in the San Antonio trial, I was there for 4 days. The reason why we had so many tiny ones in Irving was because the 2011 State House map was drawn to pull as many white voters as possible into State House District 105 while shutting out as many Hispanics as it could. And the Supreme Court, I think in no small part due to my testimony, pointed that the trial court in San Antonio, the 3-judge trial court, pointed out that the racial gerrymandering in Irving was so bad that Hispanics were cut out with surgical precision, their words, and the 105 map not only violated the Voting Rights Act, it violated the 14th and 15th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution, the only State House map they found to have done so. And now that we're not covered by pre-clearance, which was a very time-consuming and expensive provision to deal with, although very necessary, we can eliminate these holdover fragment precincts quickly and easily. And I am so grateful the court has taken the opportunity to do so. The map in Irving now looks beautiful under this proposal. It should make it a lot easier to administer elections if we ever do get forced back into paper ballots on election day. And that's very likely, I think, in the next legislative session. It's going to make recruiting election judges easier. And on a personal note, it's difficult to get precinct chairs in these tiny precincts. And now I think we're going to have a somewhat easier time because of it. One note, precinct chairs, at least for the Dallas County Democratic Party, largely were not notified of this change. We were told at the CEC meeting Monday night that we should have received a letter and an email from the county elections department. I asked several people, and the ones who were not election judges in the last few years received no communication at all, and many of us had no idea this was even happening until we went to the CEC meeting Monday night. So I'm not sure if there was a communication breakdown, but thank you for allowing us to testify, and please vote, at least for the changes in Irving, vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
With regards to his concern that correspondence wasn't generated,
can't hear you.
the difference between election judges and precinct chairs, where was the generation of the correspondence?
So the correspondence, we did send notifications to precinct chairs as well as the party chairs. The notification actually went out twice because we were hoping to have this on Commissioner's Court on Tuesday.
Past Tuesday.
So then they got an updated one. And if the party had an email for us, we did send an email. We asked the political parties to provide emails. If they had that, then we did send those out.
So what you're saying is it was the precinct chairs and the election judges who received notice?
Not necessarily, no.
Precinct
They're not the
chairs
same.
and the political party chairs.
Political party, they're not the same.
Oh, so no,
Correct.
because you didn't say that, so I wanted to make sure that I heard correctly.
Yeah.
They're not the same, and I think people sometimes
Right.
use them interchangeably. They're not the same. Well, precinct chair, independent precinct chair versus election, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Our last signed up speaker is Miss Jean Ball.
Come on, Ms. Ball.
Come on up. Tell us your address, and nice to see you.
I am Jean Ball, precinct chair in precinct 1088, and I hope the men with the map skills can come back because I'm going to need that before I'm through.
Kevin.
But and 3615 Oak Creek Circle is my address, and thank you for inviting us to come. I did get an email on November the 24th, which I didn't read on November 24th because I was doing Thanksgiving. I did never get a letter by mail, just to clarify, and I am a precinct chair. I'm also, just in case it's relevant, a former elections director of the Dallas County Democratic Party, where I served from 2013 through 2020. So I've been through some redistrictings before, and also very proud to announce we staffed District 4 for early voting elections judge for the PEOs for the first time ever in the history. I don't know if that's still 100% staffed in District 4 or not, but we're very proud of that. I was going to talk about the how my observation was nothing much has changed. We combined precincts in District 4, then District 1, and then District 3 in descending order, and the last people to get affected by this, or the least affected, is always District 2. And it speaks for itself about the reasons for that, so I'm not going to go into that. In the course, though, of trying to find these things, I am in precinct 1088, and I discovered no matter what this comes out to, well, actually, if no changes are made, then it's moot. But if the changes are made, I don't know where my precinct is, and I'm in 1088. So pull up 1088 and a few things around it, especially what was 1113 and is now 1088. I want that, and I just need y'all to see this. And because however this turns out, something needs to be fixed, I think. Basically, I will also ask the question while he's doing that. Yes, sir.
Tanner need that connection to show up there.
Okay. We may be just talking about the definition of contiguous. What is contiguous?
Put it up there.
Contiguous.
No, go ahead on. Put it up there. We can put it on a timer on our deal. It's 13 seconds. Go ahead on. Okay.
Yeah, it has to come from the ground. Sorry, Mr. White.
And while he's doing that, at the end of this, Paul, I've got these letters that Ms. Weiss gave us with people's address requesting from different neighborhood associations, putting that precinct back together. So if you would write a joint letter from you and me for me to look at, and so we can explain to them what the situation is with that senatorial line, so they'll know that we listened to Ms. Weiss and tried to help. Got it?
Thank you. Yes, okay, this is the old map, because you see where it says 1113? That is now on the new map, 1088. My 1088 is up there where it belongs. No lines have been changed, so look at the new map. Oh. There you go. Okay, I got it. You got the old map and the new map. So 1113 becomes 1088. Okay, you still have 1088 up there, but on the map that I saw that I blew up that y'all sent me, because that's the only way you can see it, has no precinct number in it at all in 1088.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
So this is all, it's actually connected. So it used to be split, but the turquoise line, that's what it is now.
So
it's one body and it's connected. Now, this used to be 113.
Hey, man,
This used
we
to
just
be,
lost it on our screen.
Well, it's still up there. But
so they are connected. There's
that's my question. What is the definition of contig? Can you do that? Because you got 1 point in a diagonal. That 1088 on the bottom is, to me, not contiguous with the 1088 on the top.
Yes, ma'am, it is actually.
Okay.
These are the boundaries.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Okay, you're good then. Gene, are you good?
On the other
Okay.
side of the road.
Yeah, it's just,
There are about 12 voters in there.
Let me see if I can.
Well, no, if she's cool, I'm cool.
Kevin, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that concludes our public speakers. Are there any additional comments by court members before we take a vote on this?
Call the question.
All right, question's been called. I'm not hearing any other comments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
thank you.
Thank you
to all.
everyone for coming today and for your interest, and we look forward to working with both parties for a good election. Thanks.
And thank you to the staff, to Paul and Kevin. Thank you. We know it was last minute.
Oh, well, you should have told me.
Mr. Summerman, how are you doing? Hey, can they describe this? Clean Road's nowhere near Thackeray.
Okay. You can talk to these guys right here, okay?
Yeah, it's about.